On June 15, 2025, I received an anonymous email with the chilling subject line, "If you're reading this, I'm already dead." The email was from someone claiming to be an Israeli Special Forces operative. Yov's team had been tasked with investigating unusual electromagnetic signals coming from a location 400 kilometers southeast of Tehran. And Dav, their team leader with over 20 years of experience. The mission was straightforward: infiltrate the site, confirm the presence of nuclear-grade uranium, and deploy tracking devices for future airstrikes. However, as they descended into the complex, they found themselves facing something entirely unexpected. Instead of nuclear weaponry, they encountered an ancient entity, one that had been buried beneath the Iranian desert for millennia. Something about the nuclear energy had stirred it. Electronic devices malfunctioned, showing their position as far deeper underground than they had actually descended. They had stumbled upon something far more ancient and powerful, an attempt to contain an entity using nuclear energy. Conventional weapons couldn't harm it, and their military doctrine offered no guidance for dealing with something that existed partially outside of physical reality. As the team tried to understand the true nature of the jinn, the facility began to collapse in ways that defied logic. The pattern of suppression and denial by governments worldwide is clear. Militaries have encountered these supernatural entities, but they are choosing to ignore the truth. Nuclear energy is not just a powerful tool, it is a beacon for forces beyond our understanding. The jinn is growing stronger, and every nuclear reaction provides it with more power. The walls folded in on themselves, and the air became thick with the sense that they were no longer in the same reality. Their equipment failed, and the chanting grew louder, filling their minds with incomprehensible thoughts. Yov's team understood that they had uncovered something humanity was never meant to find. The entity, which had once been bound by ancient rituals, had learned to manipulate nuclear energy, using it as a bridge between dimensions. As the team ventured deeper into the facility, if his account is even partially true, we are facing an existential threat that cannot be fought with conventional means. It is not just a military problem, it is a question of survival in a world where the laws of physics no longer apply. We are all living on borrowed time. They realized that the real threat wasn't a nuclear weapon, it was the jinn itself, capable of reshaping reality and escaping its prison at any moment. The Iranian scientists had discovered something buried beneath the desert and had been using nuclear reactors to contain it, but the containment was failing. The entity, or jinn, as the operative later came to believe, was growing stronger, its influence extending across dimensions. As they pressed forward, they began to see strange figures in the periphery of their vision, figures with unnaturally long limbs, moving in ways that defied human anatomy. When they tried to document the figures, the photographs came out distorted with blurred images and strange anomalies. The walls themselves seemed alive, shifting and rearranging, as though the very fabric of the place was altering. And the air itself seemed to change in texture, thickening as if they were breathing through wet cloth. The chanting they heard, faint at first, grew louder as they descended, and the symbols on the walls began to pulse with a strange bioluminescence. It was as if they were in a place that existed outside the laws of physics. Satellite images showed a facility that appeared to be a nuclear site, but the patterns didn't match any known nuclear activity. Despite the routine nature of their mission, Yov couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The electromagnetic signals they had detected grew stronger as they neared the facility, and Omar's radiation detector began registering higher levels of radiation than anticipated. At the center of this complex, they found a heavy steel hatch that led them into a vertical shaft. It wasn't indeed just the size of the underground complex that disturbed them, it was what lay within it. They encountered symbols carved into the walls, symbols that seemed to shift and change before their eyes. The technology inside the facility wasn't just advanced, it was otherworldly. Still, they pressed on, determined to gather the intelligence they had been sent for. What they found, however, defied all expectations. Colonel Amir, who conducted the briefing, kept glancing at his watch, and the intelligence provided seemed deliberately vague. The team's approach to the target was carefully planned, using night jumps and careful navigation through the desert. Yet, from the moment they landed, things started to go awry. The operation, designated Rising Lion, was initiated after the discovery of underground bunkers and heavy security. At first, they believed they were dealing with another Iranian nuclear facility, but upon arrival, they realized the truth was much more disturbing. Trying to expose the truth about Operation Rising Lion before Iranian forces could silence him. He urged me to read and share his testimony, believing it was his only chance to warn the world about a dangerous discovery buried beneath the Iranian desert. Along with his email, he attached a detailed account of the mission, assuring me that what he described was true despite its extraordinary nature. I verified as much as I could, confirming that the operational and military details align with classified Israeli records. 2 days after I received the email, reports surfaced of an Israeli national found dead under suspicious circumstances in a hotel room in Prague, an incident still under investigation by Czech authorities. In the email, the operative explained that he had changed the names and details of his team members to protect their identities, but he assured me that the events were real. His name, as he told it, was Yov Kellner. According to the email, Yov had been assigned to a covert division of Unit 8200, one of the most secretive branches of Israeli military intelligence. His mission had been clear: infiltrate an Iranian facility suspected of uranium enrichment, but what he discovered was far beyond the scope of any nuclear weapons program. 6 months prior, Yov's team consisted of himself, Ronnie, the demolitions expert, Gal, the communications and electronic warfare specialist, Omar, the medic. As Yov and his team prepared for the mission, there was an undercurrent of unease. The briefing room felt different that morning. Their equipment, which had worked flawlessly on previous missions, began malfunctioning. Instead of the above-ground nuclear facility they had been briefed on, they discovered a vast underground complex, far larger than their satellite imagery had suggested. As they ventured deeper into the facility, the team experienced strange phenomena. Their GPS readings became erratic. Yov and his team realized that they weren't just dealing with a rogue nuclear facility. The team had no idea how to combat this otherworldly force. The final moments of Yov's account were harrowing. Now, months later, Yov's warning echoes in my mind. As I write this, I know the implications of Yov's story are profound.